prices.
Welcome back to the show. Great to have your company this morning. Well, today's the day. Susan Lee facing the ultimate test of her leadership as the Liberal Party room meets to debate net zero. National Party Senator M.Canavan and 9 News Melbourne and 3AW presenter Heidi Murphy both join us from Melbourne this morning. Look at you two. You should be sitting next to each other like Angus and Susan later on today.
But look at the sunrise. Look at the beautiful skyline.
We'd be as united as the Liberal National Coalition, Carl.
Exactly.
We're in the same
It's a
room.
beautiful thing. Look, it's high noon at the OK Canberra later on. Matt, look what you have done.
Look, I'm happy to take the blame, Carl, but I just think it's about time the Australian people get a break. It's been pretty tough the last few years, and ultimately, a policy has to be judged by its consequences, not its promises. And so when we signed up to net zero, we were promised that power prices would come down. Instead, they've gone massively up. We were promised that we'd get thousands of jobs in hydrogen and critical minerals. Instead, we've lost over 7,000 manufacturing jobs offshore just in the last few years alone. The rest of the world is getting off this train. They're getting off the net zero train. I think it's about time we jump off this sinking ship, to mix my metaphors, so we jump off this sinking ship before it's too late.
OK, Heidi, given the poll out today is saying a good, healthy chunk of Aussies don't want it, they just want cheaper power, as Matt's pointing out, this should be a gift story for the coalition.
Oh, I think it absolutely would be. Susan Lee would be taking great confidence from this Resolve poll today. I mean, you look at it, and it's actually only a third of Labor voters and a third of Greens voters that are firmly, blindly wedded to net zero. Everybody else is open for it to just be a target or be a goal or step away from it rather than be completely fixed into it. Affordability is the issue. I think there may be a way through this on the basis of this poll where it looks workable. You just have to keep talking about that affordability piece. I think that is what will really sink home.
They've got real purchase. So, Maddie, let's talk about what the deal might look like. So I read in the papers this morning that the coalition will, the Liberal Party will have their announcement today, and then they'll meet up with you guys on Sunday to nut out an agreement. Are you aware of that meeting?
Well, look, hopefully at some point we're going to have those discussions. I'll wait and see what happens today, obviously. And I'm Carl. I'm just ready and able anywhere to get a better deal for Australians, because what the Nationals Party has said is we should put lower prices first. We should prioritise getting down living costs for Australians, and therefore getting living standards up. All
right, so abandon net zero, stay in the Paris Agreement, and let's see how the rest of it unfolds. Does that sound about right to you?
Well, look, the details for me are not as important as the results. What I want is something that's going to deliver the results of those lower prices, of more rewarding jobs.
You do need details
for
results,
Australians, of a fairer deal as well, because we are cutting our emissions at double the rate of the rest of the world. Why would we be doing that and handicapping our own economy?
Okay,
you'd probably also like to keep a happy family altogether.
No, I don't know. As Maddie said last week, you don't need a happy family. You just
well, the
need to get
results are more important. I'd love to have a happy family too, but I'm here for the Australian people.
All right. Let's not aim for too much. Heidi, Victoria, let's talk about this story. It will adopt Queensland's adult crime, adult time laws, although they're not going to call them that.
No, there would be a slightly different set of words, but it's a slogan that does sound a lot like what the Crisafulli government has been campaigning on, winning an election on, and by the looks of it on the stats I've seen, having an impact with the adult crime, adult time. So what it'll mean under the Allen Labor government's changes that they'll bring to Parliament this week will put kids that are charged with pretty serious crimes in front of the county court instead of through the children's court. Maximum penalty in the children's court's 3 years. Maximum outside of that will be 20, 25 years. We'll still reach the same point we reach a lot, which is whether the judiciary will implement the sentences that are as tough as the community wants. But the government's taking a step. Let's see if it's enough.
Yep. Devil in the detail, that one too. Meantime, Matt, Trump's trade war hasn't been all that bad for Aussie exporters, even though they've got huge increases in production. What's the outcome there that you'll be seeing?
There was always a knee-jerk reaction here. When those tariffs were announced, it was clear to Blind Freddy that this was a massive boon to the Australian beef industry. We faced a 10% tariff, but Mexico and Canada had a 25% tariff. They're our big competitors to fill demand in the US market. So, in effect, the Trump tariffs actually helped Australian beef, and that's now proven in the figures. But yes, there was whenever you mention the word Trump, there is a certain reaction that occurred 6 months ago. But those that I spoke to in the cattle industry knew that the deal was pretty good for us.
Still ironing itself out a little bit, isn't it, on the world stage? Finally, Matt, Albo's declared an Australian republic would make common sense. They just can't give it up, can they?
Well, I'm not sure if the Prime Minister is in the land of common sense right now.
Well, you are now, Matt. You are today,
we started this conversation talking about the fact that Australians are aghast at their electricity bills, can't believe what things are costing. Even Tim Tams, you were saying, are more expensive here than in London. What's going on? And the Prime Minister's focused instead on the royal family in London, not on the shopping trolley here in Australia. So, yeah, it would be great if Anthony Albanese could stop his victory lap from the election 6 months ago and start focusing on the issues that are facing Australia.
I think he's going to keep victory lapping for the next 3 or 4 years, at
Well,
least.
keep going, mate. That'll work out pretty
He's
well.
turned into a marathon victory lapper. Heidi, just finally.
Yeah, it's still not going to give us a republic, though, is it? And I don't think it's the time or there's any interest in having it. Why would you even say this at this time? Why reinvigorate it at all? There's no interest.
All right, good to talk to you too. Appreciate it.